My name is Kirk Hobbs, and we are part of a three-way pinball podcast, a group of beginners, some might say. I'm from Brisbane, Australia, and what we would call a pinball enthusiast, and hoping to make a go of doing a pinball podcast for everybody. So we see how we go. We have two gentlemen in chat with me. Homegrown, B-Dub is his normal name, and Brent M. Bowen. So, Brent, a couple of words about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Brent M. Bowen by day. I'm animator for that dysfunctional family of 35 years, The Simpsons on Fox. That's my day job, and at night I drink beer and play pinball with these lovely people.
Love it.
And the other gentleman we have is TKpinball on Twitch, and young Tom.
Yes, I go by TKpinball. I just showed up one day, bought some pinball machines, and I was like, man, guys stream this. This is pretty cool. So I just turned myself on one day. No network. Was fortunate enough to meet some other streamers, kind of turned me on, support my stream. Super grateful. I'm in manufacturing, so this is a newer hobby for me. I've been into it for about 5 months, and I can't stop buying the damn things.
Yeah, once you
Excellent.
pop, you can't stop.
Yeah. What we have is a pinball podcast, we hope, for the masses. And we're all beginners at it, so please bear with us in our endeavours. But first of all is the topic of Haggis Pinball. They've this week... fuck. Don't you hate that?
Yeah,
Get a mental block.
Yeah, I caught on to that because I don't know what the hell a haggis was, but I saw they kind of had this cryptic video on This Week in Pinball, which was like all I could hear was it was super confusing because people thought it was going to be a recreation of 8-Ball Deluxe because there's a lot of like billiards balls cracking, and then there was also motorcycle sounds. I didn't know what the hell it was going to be, but you kind of had an idea, right, Kirk?
Yeah, it's the two versions I've got are the Beast or Oblivion, which I'm thinking Haggis are doing very well by doing this machine, but are they doing the right thing by the numbers? 50 Oblivion editions for 25,000 Australian dollars is absolutely fucking expensive for my mind. And will they sell them? I don't know. The value in those machines compared to the Beast model, which is about 15,000 Australian dollars plus, we call it plus GST here. That looks like a beautiful machine. The attention to detail looks good, and I think Haggis have done a great job with Fathom, and at least the Mermaid edition is associated with the Beast edition, where it's got a lot of extra lights and so forth. But is there 10 grand's worth of extra bits and pieces for the Oblivion edition? I'm not so sure. Have you seen it, Brent?
Oh yeah. Well, are we talking about the Centaur or just?
Yeah, Centaur.
You know, Centaur is one of my favorite games. It's kind of cool that they're remastering it, but my friend actually owns this game. I can actually play it. Pretty neat. But I don't know. I at this point, pinball's getting too expensive for me. When I got in the hobby, I got my GoldenEye 007 $900. You know, you can't buy a pinball for $900. At least not one working. So
Right.
You can't even buy a topper.
So help me out here. Did you give the equivalency in US dollars? So what is 15,000 Australian in US dollars?
Yeah, I'll give you a rough. This is my. Sorry, I just got my calculator here.
Or how many canisters of Vegemite is that roughly?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see if they sell. I know JJP's been having trouble. You know,
for the lower model, it's around 9 grand.
Yeah,
okay,
that sounds about right. That's like Pulp
Good
Fiction
premium.
and stuff.
Yeah, it's
I don't know how many
competitively priced.
they're running. You know, is it a limited run? Like probably, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, they said they're doing 250 of the Beast edition, which is we call it the lower tier model, but I don't think it is a lower tier as such because it's equivalent to the Fathom Mermaid Edition with the undercad lights and so forth. Because I think Haggis learnt pretty quickly that at least the Fathom lower tier edition basic machine just didn't sell as much as what they would have, and everybody went for the Mermaid Edition. So it's good that they've done it as a Mermaid Edition with sort of more of an upper tier model, but then they go another step on with the Oblivion one. But I just can't see 10 grand worth of extras in it myself, personally. The basic is some metal cutout rails along the side. Probably I think there's a topper, leather jacket, and a helmet. God knows what you're going to dress up to play the machine in that for. But anyway,
garb, huh?
Yeah, that's to each their own on that score.
Yeah. Pinball's definitely, since the pandemic, has skyrocketed in price. Gotten very popular. Actually, I found out the other day that there's over 100,000 unique new pinballers that have joined tournaments.
Oh, that's
a lot.
fantastic. Yeah.
Great for the
So
game.
it's just sad for me because, again, they're pricing me out of my hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm met with the same questions every time I tell people that, well, I'm going to go home and play pinball on a stream. And they're like, they still make pinball is usually the most common response that I still get. So it's glad to hear stats like that people are still getting into it.
When I first bought my machine in 2004, Stern was the only company. Stern kept it alive, and then JJB came out, and then Chicago. I mean, Stern was the only pinball company manufacturing pinball for a lot of years. I think without them, honestly, I don't know where we'd be with pinball.
Right.
Oh, pinball would be dead.
Possibly, yeah. There's also VP, the Zen guys and stuff, but it just doesn't feel the same,
No. It's visual pinball is a great way for people with limited means, which is I would say 98% of the pinball population, to get access to games that you would never think to buy or maybe see in the wild, possibly. Because even at a Las Vegas pinball machine or pinball museum, you can't play every machine in the joint, even though you'd like to. But if you have a machine with 800 games on it, you're going to come across it. It might be a different feel, but there's a market for it, and that's why that type of pinball is, I'm going to say, successful, and there's a place for those machines.
I know a lot of tournament guys that use it so they can learn a machine. They can learn a game at home before they go and do a tournament on it, because you got to learn the rules, right?
Yeah,
so that's one.
That makes a lot of sense. Jaunt about your personal pinball experiences. I know Tom's got a good recent one about Mandalorian.
Damn it, dude. my arch nemesis. That's I have so many bright, wonderful experiences to talk about. Yeah, I'll talk about that dark dude. So that was one of my few experiences where I purchased a machine sight unseen. Because if somebody were to tell me I like pinball machines, half the reason I like them is because I like to go all in on themes. I love Star Wars. I love Mandalorian. I got that thing at my house. That thing was punishing and embarrassed me in front of my family and the internet. There are 15 to 20 posts on that thing that kick that ball back at you at light speed. So the shots are tight. They're super. They're super. I guess punishing would be the word. So that hurt. But the silver lining is that one forced me into a lot of pinball fundamentals that I didn't really have before. I had to drop catch. I had to dead flip 2 to 3 times as much. So it was a love-hate relationship. It was not bolted to the floor. Mando was gone after about a month. But it made me stronger. But it can also kiss my ass.
Pro?
Yeah.
Is it a premium or a pro?
That was a premium.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pepper loves that game, by the way.
Oh, and more power to her. I'm
like
a
it
strong
better now
believer
with
that
the
there's
new
not a good
code.
or bad game. There are games that resonate with us more than others.
Truth.
Mm. So when you sold it, Tom? I know you got a good deal on it when you bought it. Did you get your money back?
It was an absolute wash.
Ugh.
I got to spend a month with the game for no cost. I was okay with it.
All right,
Chicken
wash is
evens,
good.
there's nothing bad with that.
Nope.
No, that's a well done. Congratulations, because I know not many people in the hobby can say that.
And not many people can wheel and deal in the middle of Virginia. So I truly that's a bit of luck.
Well,
Yeah.
if you want to ship your games, there's ways of doing it. So
Do you do a lot of that? Do you ship your games?
I have. My Lord of the Rings came out of the East Coast to me in L.A., and then my Simpsons pinball party came to me from Florida. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Still working on that game, but yeah. So there's a couple people on Pinside. I'm dropping the name of her. I could look it up, but she specializes in shipping pinball games and at really affordable prices. If you're going to do it FedEx or UPS, good luck.
Yeah.
Half the time those guys will destroy your games, but pretty sure her name's Michelle Blanche. I might be wrong. Should be getting that right. Anyway, she does it very affordable. Sometimes $500 to ship a game from Florida to Washington. So that's not bad.
Not bad at all.
That's pretty good.
Obviously, they had to raise the prices because of the gas, but I don't know if I don't know where she's landed. It cost me about $700 to ship Simpsons from Florida to Washington. So I didn't think that was bad, considering that's when that was the whole peak of the gas, spike. So.
Yeah.
Homegrown, I watch
Simpsons,
you pretty regularly. Are you? What's up with that game? Is that going to work soon? Is it
I just got the board shipped. The board's just shipped back to me today. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hopefully, I mean, he fixed it. There's a guy named Chris Hibbler. Look him up on YouTube. You can actually see him work on my boards. He does a YouTube video of every board he fixes.
Oh, cool.
And he sends you the YouTube video with what was wrong with it and what he did to fix it and how to test it. And he puts it up on his channel, which is pretty cool, So on his end, everything works. So hopefully when I plug it in on my end, it stays the same. So we'll see.
It's a mechanic's nightmare. When you send something away, you bring it back, you plug it in, it doesn't fix your problem.
Well, everything was fine, but it's an old game. It sat in an abandoned arcade, literally abandoned arcade for I don't know how long, and soldering. There's a lot of broken solder joints and parts. They just got dry and cracked. So on the board, there's a few, broken solder points on the chips. So hopefully he went through it all. Hopefully it's okay. Yeah,
Simpsons has a definite soft spot in my heart because that was my first ever in-box pin in the mid-2000s. We got it off the Australian distributor who used to have an office in Brisbane, but they don't have it anymore. They're totally out of Sydney now. But I had a small unit in a suburb, Windsor. Not that anybody would know it in Brisbane, but anyone in Australia will probably know where Windsor is. And we're up on the top floor. So I play a lot of cricket, did so for 25 years, or probably a bit more than that. And it was invite your mates around for a game of pinball, but first we got to lift the machine upstairs. Sure. Let me tell you, The Simpsons it's not that heavy when you compare it to a JJP, but when it's the first machine you own, it's goddamn heavy. And taking that up essentially 4 flights of stairs to get it into my small apartment. And it was the one machine that made me late for work on the odd occasion, because I was living alone in those days before I got married. And just being with that machine, you'd start a game at, it's 7:15, ready to go to work. Because I work for myself, I own my own business. So that helped. And sometimes you'd be there for a game might last for half an hour, 3/4 of an hour.
Yeah.
So I'd rock up to work at 9 o'clock and, okay, time to get stuck in. But it's an awesome game. Absolutely awesome game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Love it.
can't wait to play it.
Yeah.
One of these
Well,
days.
what was all our first ever game? I'll say whether it's new in box or second hand doesn't matter.
So yeah, I can start. Lord of the Rings, on a whim. That was I ordered it from a rando off of eBay. Uh, it was very courageous with me. What was I, 25, 26 years old, dumping a ton of money on a machine, and I got lucky. It was in great shape, but it didn't have to
Really?
be. Yeah. So yeah, I think I paid something silly for it, like $3,000, $4,000. I mean, it was a different market, and that was
Yeah.
'07, '08, something like that. So yeah, I got super lucky. I loved it, and I think I have a similar story to a lot of pinballers. Is I didn't know what was there. I just thought you just flicked a silver ball around. It was like I was, and then I got online and I'm like, okay, there's a strategy here. Like I go in an order and I have all these objectives and there's story modes to unlock and I may never see certain ones. I just got so wrapped up in it because I didn't know what I had. I wanted a cool piece of Lord of the Rings memorabilia, but I didn't know that I was going to get so into it. And then from then I couldn't stop. This is round 2 of the hobby, but yeah, Lord of the Rings was my first pen.
Oh, cool. Wish I could have got that good conditioned one from you.
Yeah.
I'm still working on mine. I've had it for years. I also, too, bought my Lord of the Rings rando from eBay from a guy who said he completely refurbished it. It was brand new. I got it in, what was it, 2006? It was manufactured in 2003, so it was on the floor game out in the wild. When I got mine, I didn't have as much luck. There was nails through the back box. He just like hammered nails in and touched it up, and the wiring underneath the game was cross-wired, so you'd hit the ring shot and it would register as a different shot. It was a nightmare, and I was pretty upset about it because he's like, "Oh, I fully rebuilt the flippers." He didn't do anything, so I got sold a bag of goods there. But again, I paid $3,200 for it back then. I've completely fixed it all since then. It's looking great and playing great finally. But,
Very cool.
yeah. Anyway, I wish I would have had better luck from that.
And that was also your first.
No, that was my second. My first was GoldenEye. I bought it on eBay as well, but I got it for $900 on eBay back in 2004. GoldenEye Sega, the slipping on his name right now, which GoldenEye he was. Anyway.
James Bond.
Yeah, James Bond. I forget which actor. I'm forgetting his name
Pierce
right now. I don't know why. There you go. Thank you. It was that one. It was cool because I was like, hey, I had a naked lady on the side of this cabinet. And I didn't care what I was buying at that point. I just wanted a pinball. I didn't care which one. I saw that one. I got a good deal on it. And it happened to be a neighbor in mine in North Hollywood from eBay. Just happened to be a block away from my house, which is kind of interesting. And I went and rented a U-Haul, loaded it up. It was a game built for Switzerland, so it didn't take American coin. And brought it in, unloaded it, and boy, we played and played and played, and that was the game that I also learned on how to start fixing my games because I knew if I was going to own this game, I need to learn how to fix them and work on them. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. All right, we've got, when Tom and I talked before, we had a couple of different subjects. We might be a bit choppy getting our transitions correct, but dream vaults have been talked about lately, and in particular, one coming up from possibly from Stern Pinball. I've heard Ghostbusters bantied about. Tom, what was your rumor mill on the dream vault?
Yeah, so it's a spin-off of that whole like is Venom the September, what do they call that? What's their twice a year?
Cornerstone, yeah.
Yeah, what's the Cornerstone
they call it,
machine? And there's been a lot of talk pop up. It's like guys are coming in. These guys don't have to be credible, but they're saying, I know what it is. It's not Venom. It's a vault. And one of the hints given it was picture a lot of teeth, but it's not jaws. And that's only the real clue that's been given. But anyway, that just kind of spun into what's your dream vault? If something were to come out of the Stern vault, or any vault really, or a Chicago Gaming replica, what would it be? And not surprising, I sold my Lord of the Rings 10 years ago. I want it back. That would be my dream, is to have Lord of the Rings be re-released at a god darn reasonable price with brand new boards. Yeah, so I'd like to see Lord of the Rings. If I were to guess what it would be, I would hope it'd be Lord of the Rings or Stranger Things.
I hate to be too predictable, but definitely Simpsons and Lord of the Rings are two machines that if they came out new in box again now, God, I'd have to, I'd struggle to pick between two great machines, and they both have Keith. The guy doing the code. God, I hate it when you have a mental blank.
Usually happens when you hit record, so don't worry.
Anyway, Keith knows who he is, and he did the rules on both of them, and I think they're great. One of the great things about Joe also maybe designed them, didn't he?
Oh yeah, that was the designer. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, and he didn't do Lord of the Rings. He did Hobbit. So there you go.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, one of the greatest modes on The Simpsons is when the flippers swap. So you hit the right flipper and the left flipper goes up, and you've got to play that cross-handed. So you cross your arms, put your hands on the other flipper, and you can play it normally. And that to me is one of the best modes in pinball. Plus, I love the upper playfield on The Simpsons. It's small, it's effective, and it just has two really good shots. And it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But for other games that I would consider a dream vault. I think 8-Ball Deluxe, from my perspective, is the game that I grew up with when I was a kid. That and Paragon. Those are two games that really hold a special place for me. To potentially, if they came out new again, you'd definitely have to consider it. Moving pins in or moving pins out.
Yeah.
You can't buy them all.
Yeah. Mine's definitely hands down Lord of the Rings as well. If it did come back out, I would definitely buy it brand new in box with the modern. Hopefully they'd update it, modernize it maybe with the new greens, which would be kind of cool. But either way, I think I'd have to get that new. Even though I have this one, I'd love to have a new in box one.
Yeah, I would love to see Lord of the Rings done in a Hobbit style. That would be my sort of, if you're really going to go down the rabbit hole of dream themes and dream artwork packages, because I do have a Hobbit, which both of you guys know, and the artwork on that is fantastic. And to put that across to a Lord of the Rings, I know it will never happen, two different manufacturers, I don't give a rat's backside about each other, but if you could really go down that rabbit hole, that would be how I would do it.
When I think about manufacturing, and I've never been in pinball manufacturing, when I think about manufacturing as I know it, like you have to have a bill of materials. And I think about a game that was started production in 2003. You wouldn't have anything on hand. You wouldn't have any DMDs. You wouldn't have any of those old playfield materials. You wouldn't have a workforce that knows how to make a game like that. So I almost think rather than go that far back in time to the DMD style, they would have to revitalize it. They'd have to make it a little different. Otherwise, they would spend more time re-engineering that than they would just completely rehashing it. And people would want to see that anyway, right?
Yeah, we'll look at the remakes with like Cactus Canyon and stuff. So it's like they just enough to where it felt old school, but it was also felt updated.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, Cactus Canyon, I must admit, when it first came out, there was a theme that was, I didn't really. The playfield looked a bit too 90s to me, but as it's evolved, I think that game is absolutely fantastic. It's
Yeah,
one that I
love
would
it.
definitely consider buying, and it's probably because it's so old school, and probably because it's considered a bit easier. I think games of today, they tend to be made a little bit towards a player who's a bit better, should I say? And I wouldn't consider myself in the top 60% of players running around the planet. So I
Yeah,
tend
me
to,
neither. Godzilla
yeah,
destroys me. So
Godzilla kicks my backside. I tried to leave it on factory post for as long as I could. I think the highest game I got was about 660 million, I think, on it. But every other game was 50, 30, 60, 110. That's a good game. Well done. You really nailed that one.
I Godzilla straight default. I didn't do any mods to it, so it's the way it's gonna be. Like it's the game that gets me better at pinball all around. So
Mm.
it's also the game I don't walk to as much.
Yep.
They fire up something else, you know. If I want to
Yeah.
get knocked around, I'll turn on Godzilla. But
Mm.
which leads us
So-
into review a machine in your collection. Right?
Oh hell. Okay.
Wow. Who wants to start off? TK, you want
Oh,
to
I
rain
don't
that
care.
one?
I don't care. So what
You
am I
got
looking
you
at?
got a lot of new ones there, TK. So
I'll start with Toy Story. That one's controversial, right? People like to say mean things about Toy Story. I'll say great things, and kind of building off what we're just talking about. So approachable. Like I come up, I'm gonna start this game. I'm gonna be in for no more than 20-25 minutes. I understood the rules in this machine within. JJP does this cool thing. They make these like flow charts, which I think are it's so easy, so basic. I understood the rules very soon. I think I've had it for 2 weeks and I saw the wizard mode already. I'm not very good. I don't see many wizard modes. I see a lot of mini wizards. And if I have a game in my collection for a year plus, I'll see a wizard mode. I saw the wizard mode in 2 weeks. And I'm just not that good. But I also know that my score was shit, so I have a lot of building to do there. It's very approachable. It's colorful. It's beautiful. I think the voice acting is fantastic. If you stack the call-outs versus the number 2 machine on Pinside right now, it's like a Foo Fighters. I love that machine. Call-outs are shit. So you have this like weird little hippie guy. I think he's supposed to be a roadie. He's got 15, 20 lines. There's a couple randos in there, but they didn't get anybody from the band. But you look at Toy Story, they've got Tim Allen. They've got Tom Hanks' son, who somehow sounds exactly like Tom Hanks. So I don't know how that happened. And it's just everything about its quality. I ended up with the CE. The Radcals are fantastic. I feel like my machine is a tank with these Radcals on here. Like I feel like if I move this thing out of here and I move it rooms, I'm not scared that I'm going to clip the door seal and destroy the value of my machine. So those are brilliant. Back glass is beautiful. Yeah, I'm pumped. It's probably about an 8 out of 10. And if you go look around, people don't say great things about it. I think they got hit pretty hard for the price increase because they got the first post-pandemic price increase, I believe, right? Because they took the CE to 15 grand. I think people are mad at the price increase, not the game, because it's a good game.
I enjoyed it. I've played it several times and I almost bought it. Like I came close to buying it. Not full price.
Yeah. Yep.
Not full price. I had a good offer on a new box and I even lowballed them a little bit more and it was just they were like, I can't go any lower. And I was like, you know what? I don't need it that bad. So
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I really
think-
enjoyed the game and it is gorgeous.
It's made a JJP fanboy out of me. I can't wait to end up with another JJP. This thing is a tank. I don't understand how 300 pounds per machine feels 3 times as heavy as a 275 of a Stern machine. but I'm a fanboy now. I love it.
Yeah, once you get up into those bigger weights, if you as you say, 100, well, I go in kilos. Being Australian, we're on the metric system,
Yeah.
and Stern's about 130. Yeah, and JJPs, you really notice that extra 20 to 30 kilos extra. you get up to 150, 160 kilos, and you definitely notice it. And I've got a Hobbit, and that was the third machine I ever bought. I sold my Simpsons eventually because I got married and moved into a house, which different priorities. I still regret that sale. But anyway, not that I'm bitter. Whoever owns it in Brisbane, you bastard. But yeah, it's my opinions on Toy Story is the song. I really it grates on me so badly. You got a friend in me. If I ever have to listen to that song, well, I just won't. That's what. But it doesn't detract from the game. It's a great game. Will I own it one day? Maybe. Yeah. And I definitely will enjoy it because I do like it. I've played it a few times. And it's only financial restraints that stop me ever getting one. We all have limited budgets, so we just got to pick and choose wisely. It came out at a time where I put my name, because I didn't own any Stern machines. The second machine, which is, I guess, the first out of, I call it, I lost pinball for about 10 years and, paid off our house and did a few of those things. So I got a Medieval Madness remake as my first foray back into pinball. And Hobbit after that with a couple more games. We'll get into those later. But I had a few JJPs as the machine that I was really sticking to, and then I put my name down for a couple of Sterns, and I've got a Godzilla and a Jurassic Park, which I'll talk about the Jurassic Park another time. I've got big opinions on the artwork on that machine. But when I did that, Toy Story came out, so it was never on the cards for me to get. But would I own one? Damn straight I would. It's a bloody beautiful game, and the rules are great. No problem at all. Next subject is the big elephant in the room over the last couple of weeks, which is the Harry Potter rumour. I'm not mentioning who I found out my information from, but it turned from a maybe to a definite maybe to I'm damn sure it's coming out. So what do we think about it? And what do we think about the way that it was revealed? My personal opinion is it was a bit of a joke, really, that someone who with a supposedly reputable name in pinball would do such a bitchy thing to reveal someone else's license. I don't think that's fair, and it just makes them look bad. What do you guys think?
I don't care if they make it. I'm buying it. Doesn't matter. It's going to be in my collection. I've already called to try and get my name down, and they're like, "Look, we can't put your name down on a game that's not announced." I said, "Well, either way, I'm going to be yours."
Yeah.
I just know they bought the license. It's going to be far down the line, which is good because I don't have any money. So.
I've kind of dug to the core of that. Is what people will tell me. Yeah, I got my name down, and I was like, well, what you really have is you've given a guy an obligation to call you when it comes time to actually action on that machine. Because I felt out of the loop, but I was like, how did I miss out on this? You're just getting a phone call. You don't have your name down for anything really yet. Yeah. So,
well, I sent an email. My name's definitely down, and I'm buying the bastard. Okay. I'm like you, Homegrown. I'm glad that it's coming out.
Yeah.
Like what designers do we have in the pipeline? Steve Ritchie hasn't done his first JJP game yet, so there's at least one there. Mark Sider, the new guy.
That name drop. We're talking Keith.
Yeah, but he's more on the Stern side of things. JJP are the ones doing it, so you got at least two designers there. Plus, who are you going to give it to? And that's been talked about a lot in other podcasts. Who, I agree with, and it's got to be Eric Menu to do it. He's got the runs on the board, at least for popular games. And I can't see Steve Ritchie doing that, or maybe he could. Maybe,
I don't envy whoever does it because no matter whoever does it, that's a tough.
Oh, it's a tough shoe to fit.
And boys could be upset. I mean, that's a tough job.
I think they should take a page out of Stern's book because I watched Foo Fighters and I followed the development of that. Do you think Jack Danger, the guy knows pinball, the guy has a fantastic personality, but do you think he understood all the physics of how to make a good shot? No, he openly says I had help. He's got Gomez and his
Yeah,
team technically advising him. I think high collaborations on a title like this, a no miss title, is huge. It's like, yeah, name your
yeah.
lead designer, but bring anybody who can make it a great game.
Mm.
Make it a table conversation. There's no reason to box that off. Again, that's a lot of pressure. That's a tough game to make.
Well, and how many do you put all 9 movies in one? Or are they gonna go, oh, we
No,
just got the one movie and we're gonna do all 9 movies in separate machines and string this thing along? Or do
my
they just have the
original.
Harry Potter license and they do Hogwarts Legacy, the pinball machine? I just
Exactly.
don't know.
One, yeah, my original thought was, okay, bugger it, we'll just do seven. There's eight movies. You don't worry about the seventh movie. Just do 7 machines. That'll be great. But it's
Yeah.
not possible. So
I would love to see him
literally,
break it
you
into 2 games, like you do the first half and then the second half, or something like that.
I
But
think you've got to be a little bit more picky because at least even the movies themselves, there is so much footage in regard to those movies. Or maybe you have different modes, and a different mode is the first movie, a different mode is the second movie, a different mode is the third movie. At least you've got some separation there.
yeah,
But
like
it's
Hobbit, they got all 3 movies in there, and
You're right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
48
going to be
missions.
yeah, that's right. Well, that's the only way I think that they could possibly do it, because otherwise it's a bit too disjointed.
And I think they learned
But
their lesson with Toy Story 4. That was probably the biggest complaint I heard. Is like, oh, I loved 1 and I loved 2, and why did you make it 4? Because really, at the base of Toy Story, that's a game about carnival games. It's a game about mini games. I think they could have just said Toy Story Carnival games, and you probably would have done better than just going out on a limb and calling it 4. So you could do like some like Homegrown said, make it Hogwarts Legacy. Don't make it
mm,
linear by the movies. You got a license, you've got Quidditch, you can go crazy. But yeah, that's restricting to have to throw 8 movies into that thing.
Yeah. It'll be
yeah,
interesting to say the least. And like, are we doing off the books? Are we doing off the movie? I mean, there's so much there. And,
mm,
Rowling, she has to personally approve anything licensed as a
mm.
Harry Potter. So she's going to be involved as well because she doesn't allow anything out to sell without her approval. So.
Right.
I think that's probably the main reason why JJP got the license, because she is, excuse me, a person who doesn't necessarily like pinball, or that's the way the rumor goes. So the fact that JJP are more directed towards the home user rather than we'll call it the sleazy bar pinball, even though I don't agree with that totally, but that's the opinion potentially. What do you say? That's how they got the license, I believe, because they are more of a family or a home pinball company. But it's going to be so difficult for the one designer, or even if they put 2 people on it. What you say is we've got to put it on a discussion over a round table. It's going to take more than one person to get the design and the rule set for this game. And if they do 2 or 3 pins, I wouldn't be surprised. And they probably should. But can I afford 2 or 3 pins? It'll have to be over the next 10 years.
So here's my question. If you got to throw one mech into that thing, one Harry Potter theme, what do you put in there? Do you have Quidditch? What are you actually putting in the game? What makes a Harry Potter pin a Harry Potter pin?
That's an interesting question. You're gonna have to get very inventive to try and make this ball do some magical things. You know what I mean? Um, magnets maybe to lift it off the game, or what I mean? Like, what do you do? Yeah. Do you have an upper play field that's a Quidditch, Quidditch pitch, and you have like a mini Quidditch upper play field kind of mission type deal, or do
Yep.
you? what do you do? I mean, this could be a multi-level game if you think about it. Look at Scooby-Doo. Look at what they did there. I don't know. I just think they're gonna have to get magical they're gonna have to get inventive, like kind of like Avengers, even like with some of those ramps that they did. It was pretty cool. I think if they put their minds to it, they can come up with some new mechs for this game.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
I think you got to have it'd be missed opportunity if you did some kind of like sorting hat. Because I think that's a cool gimmick that I'm noticing in some games, like Game of Thrones. I love that I get to pick my house. I don't even really know what it does, but I like to pick my house. If I start JJP Pirates, I get to pick my character. I love that. If you get to pick your house, or you get to do like a series of skill shots that kicks you off and picks your house, people would love that too. But there's endless things you can do. It's awesome.
There is endless potential. It's just a matter of which are the best ones that more suit the pinball. Your big assets with Harry Potter, obviously, is the movies. It's the visual assets that you get. I agree with I agree with a multi-level game, but you've got to be very, very careful because you don't want it to turn into a Halloween, which, sorry to all the Halloween fans out there, but it's not my favorite game, nor do I particularly like the design of it, and there's too much upper playfield, so probably a happy medium. But Quidditch, are you putting all your eggs in one basket? It would have to be a pretty special Quidditch upper playfield to get a Guernsey. Magnets is a no-brainer. It's magic. Magnets are magic.
It'd be cool if like a golden ball popped out and you had to catch the snitch or something, just out of all the balls that you have, like have one be golden and then it starts a snitch mode or something.
I need that. Yes.
Yeah. A snitch could be, it could be a flashing light that jumps around the playfield, because that's basically what a snitch does. So you got to hit the magic shot. I hate to be the person designing this game. It would be so much pressure.
Very tough job.
Way above my
no matter what, you're going to disappoint somebody. It's guaranteed.
Yeah, it is very, it is very scary. But I can't wait for it. I'll be looking out for it, definitely, as the years go by. Bruce, what's your guess? When's it coming out? In your views, we're halfway through 2023, 2025, at least.
Yeah,
maybe 26.
I was thinking 26 probably. But they just got the license, unless somebody had already been designing it, has a playfield design that they feel like work for that. Who knows? I think it's gonna be a minute. Which is fine with me because I don't have any. I'm pin poor, so it's fine. Give some time to stack some chips.
Yeah, we all need that.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, thank you everyone for hopefully enjoying our first attempt at a podcast. I want to thank Mr. Brent M. Bowen and Mr. Tom TKpinball. And Kirk Hobbs we have here, and it's been a lot of fun. If you need to contact us before we do our next version of this endeavour, orders at pacifictrade.com.au will get in charge with me, and if I've got to move anything on to the other gentleman, we'll do so. And thanks for listening. Take care and have a great day. Bye.
Yep. Once again, I'm Tom, or TKpinball. I stream Tuesdays and Thursday nights, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it was nice to meet everyone. Kirk, thanks for leading the charge here and getting this thing together.
All right, I'm Brett Timpone by day, that animator for that dysfunctional family, The Simpsons, on Fox. It's my day job, and at night I stream Pinball Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I'm kind of the late night pinball streamer. And you can catch me there every Tuesday and Thursday.
Fantastic. Cool.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thanks, gents.